Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime with Shannon, where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. So, you guys, I took a nap after work, and I woke up to kind of a storm going on in regards to the Kylie Rodney case. And of course, there's some other big news that's been happening today, and when you feel like, hey, I might take a break and not do a video today on the channel, but that just is not going to work out today, So let me go over the missing person and we will get into this conversation. Okay, today's missing person is going to be Ben Thwaits. He was last seen October 4th at approximately 11:59 p.m. near the 7000 block of Oakhurst Avenue in Las Vegas, Nevada. He is 13 years old. He's a white male, 5'3", 110 pounds, brown hair, and brown eyes. If you have any information on the location of Ben Thwaits, please call the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department at 702-828-3111 or the missing persons detail line, which is 702-828-2907, or you can call 911. They have the reference of the case number below, and if you needed that. But if you have any information on Ben and you are in the Las Vegas area, please do contact the authorities. So this is from News 4. I believe they're in Nevada. They could be in California. I'll be honest, I didn't clarify that information. They are a Fox affiliate, though, looks like. Kylie Rodney's death ruled accidental drowning. No foul play suspected, police say. All right, so let's read the article. It's not very long. Truckee, California. Police have determined the death of 16-year-old Kylie Rodney was accidental. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office said an autopsy ruled her death the result of a drowning, and there was no information to suspect foul play. The teen went missing after attending a large party at the Prosser family campground in August. Dozens of search crews spent weeks searching for the Truckee teen before an outside search group found her silver CRV underwater at Prosser Reservoir. Adventures with Purpose pulled her car with her body inside from roughly 12 feet of water not far from the shore. Correction News 4, Adventures with Purpose did not pull her vehicle out. Law enforcement took care of that. But I think you guys should just double check that piece of information. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office did not mention anything about completing a toxicology report, but asked the public to respect the family's privacy during this difficult time. This is a breaking story. Check back with us for updates. So, they're basically telling us, you got to read between the lines here, y'all. I think law enforcement is telling us, guys, hey, we ruled it an accident. Move on. Which is basically what her mama said, at their celebration of life for Kylie. She went on to do the interview with the news, and she went on to tell social media folks, YouTube creators and whatnot, y'all ought to find a hobby, find something else to do. This is our stuff, don't mess with our teens. Don't, you need to just, forget about us here in Truckee and move on. Find a hobby. Of course, I'm paraphrasing all that, but Truckee seems to be a small community that doesn't really want the outsiders to get involved in their business. That's the impression I've gotten, and I don't think they're going to give us much more, if anything. So it's really sad because I have a lot more questions. How did she get in the back of that vehicle? We have questions about the phone pings and the times that Sammy swore that she got a phone call from her at 12:36, yet her phone was supposedly not working at that point. Okay. And that, as far as those fire cams go, you guys, I that to me is not proof enough. I think, we've all been looking through them. I didn't do a video on them, but I'm sure a lot of you guys saw other creators doing all kinds of videos on them. And I don't know, it's hard to tell. There was a couple spots where there could be a vehicle heading toward the water, but it's kind of hard to tell, and there's a floodlight blocking it, so I have questions about that. And my biggest question is, what about the AAA driver that they interviewed, AWP interviewed? Was he lying? Is that not the truth? Did he not legitimately see Kylie's car and whether or not it was Kylie and some guy with her. Did he not see them on that Saturday or Friday, considering he wasn't completely sure? Is that a total made-up story? I mean, I'm really curious about that story for sure. So there's still a few boxes that I would like check before I go with the police's accidental drowning story. But again, I don't know if we're going to get any more on that. All right, let me pull up AWP release this evening. They put out a little statement, so let me pull that up. Here is their, this was about less than an hour ago. I'm recording this at 7:22 p.m. on Thursday evening. Our thoughts and prayers are with Kylie and her family. We trust today that a thorough investigation has been completed and will stand by the decisions released in their findings. Sounds like AWP is going to go with that. And, I'll be honest with you, I don't blame them. But at the same time, I would like to see what other video evidence that they do have. But considering that these guys have to work all over the country with a lot of law enforcement, and their reputation with this case, has been questionable for some, and I think highly of them, but sadly not everybody does. And so, I can't say, I blame them at all. I really can't. So, like I said, I'm a big supporter of them. I support them. I'm a subscriber and a member of their channel. So I support them and their decision, even though I really wish they would give us that information. So here's the next piece of news updates here. Jury recommends Parkland school shooter Nikolas Cruz get life in prison, not the death penalty. I watched this live, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well. He and I watched his trial on and off since the end of July when it started airing. So it was when they started the trial and aired it, rather streamed it on YouTube. So here's the update. A Broward County, Florida jury recommended Thursday that the Parkland shooter Nikolas Cruz should get life in prison, but not the death penalty in the deaths of 17 people. The jury failed to reach a unanimous verdict on a recommendation for the death penalty on all counts. Circuit Judge Elizabeth Schurer set sentencing for November 1st when victim impact statements will be delivered. Now, a lot of the family has spoken out since the verdict came out. And so they apparently, the jurors went into deliberations, I believe, on Wednesday morning. I'm not sure exactly what time. And today had been Thursday. They came back pretty early this morning. They said it came about 15 minutes after they arrived. So I'm going to assume that they had their verdict by Wednesday when they went home for the day. But they did ask on Wednesday to look at the gun that he used. So, and then they came back this morning and said they were ready to announce the verdict. And the judge read all 17 charges, and I believe it took her over 45 minutes, from what I recall, because they made sure to mention each and every victim, which I applaud, because they should all be recognized. And it's a very sad situation. And I got to tell you, I'm mixed on the sentencing. If anyone deserves the death penalty, I would say definitely he deserves it. But I can't blame the one juror, and they have stated that it is one juror, which is all it took, was one juror to state that they don't want to go for the death penalty, and he would get life. So one juror decided that he or she couldn't go with the death penalty. So that means that the defense attorney, when they did their case and their closing arguments, they must have gotten to this juror, and as much as I feel horrible for the families, and I can't imagine, what kind of feelings and everything that they've gone through since the shooting in 2018. And I completely feel, everything for them. None of us can imagine their pain because we have not been through such a thing like as they have. But at the same time, I really feel bad when the jurors are potentially blamed that they made a bad verdict. I felt that, that, back when Casey Anthony, when they decided that she was not guilty, I thought they made a bad verdict as well. But, we have to trust our justice system, and it's not even remotely perfect. It's well far from that. But at the same time, I think there's something to having him, Nikolas Cruz, having him have to sit there in prison, for, he's 24 years old. He's not going to have a possibility of freedom for the rest of his life. And, he may end up, being gone before before he ages out. Remember Jeffrey Dahmer? Someone took him out in prison, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But, again, my condolences, and I feel for the family, but at the same time, like I said, I can understand the one juror's, hesitation in that, and, as a Christian, you guys, I have to say God bless them. It's a hard situation, and no matter what, we're sitting outside and we're not the jury. So they were in there for weeks upon weeks. And when you have to sit there and say, hey, I want to put this person to death, that's got to weigh, heavy on your heart. And as much as, like I said, I do believe that if anyone deserves it, it would be him. But again, I think it's just a hard thing to do. And it's like, I don't think any of us could say that we would be okay with it until we're in that, in that chair and sitting in those shoes. So, but either way, he's not going anywhere. He's forever behind bars. And I think, it's going to do him in. Hopefully it'll really get to him mentally and get under his skin. All right, and my final update here on this video is going to be on Quinton Simon, which of course I did a video on him yesterday. And not long after I got that video up, right before I headed to bed, I saw the posting starting to come through, and I woke up this morning to the news that Chatham County believes that little Quinton is no longer with us. So they had a presser today, which basically cemented that particular their statement, obviously on Facebook and on their social media. At this point, Mama Leilani is the main suspect. So here is the update here. Okay, they had a 1 p.m. press briefing for credentialed media. And let me see what here. To date, they will let you know, to date, there's been no charges have been filed. And as I record this, they have not located Quinton, or at least they have not indicated that to the public. So let me see if we can play this presser here, so that way you guys can all check it out.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley. I'm joined today by FBI Supervisory Senior Resident Agent Will Clark of the Savannah FBI office. As you know, our investigation over the last 8 days has led us to the heartbreaking conclusion that 20-month-old Quinton Simon is deceased. We have named his mother, Leilani Simon, as the primary suspect in Quinton's disappearance and death. We have not made an arrest or filed any charges at this time. From the moment we received the 911 call reporting Quinton missing, we have conducted an exhaustive search for him. Sadly, we still have not found Quinton. But our search and our investigation will continue, and it will continue with every available resource we have in order to give Quinton's family closure and see that justice is served in this case. I would like to thank the FBI for their invaluable expertise and assistance during our search, and for the help they will continue to provide moving forward. We know that millions of people fell in love with Quinton Simon the moment they saw his face and learned of his disappearance. We have seen the outpouring of love and concern for this child, and the outpouring of grief at the latest developments in this case. The men and women of the Chatham County Police Department share that same sadness, but we also feel very determined to keep working as hard as we can, and for as long as we have to find Quinton. Now Special Agent Clark will have some comments, and then I'll return with some closing statements.
Good afternoon. My name is Will Clark. I am the Senior Supervisory Resident Agent in charge of the FBI's Savannah and Brunswick offices. From the moment the FBI became involved in this investigation, our primary goal was to assist the Chatham County Police Department in bringing Quinton home and holding anyone responsible for his disappearance accountable. To the Chatham County community, our heart breaks along with yours in trying to comprehend what we believe happened here. The FBI, along with our law enforcement partners, have followed every lead, every tip, and every piece of evidence to get to this point, and we will continue to do so. The FBI entered this case less than 3 hours after Quinton was reported missing. The FBI has provided the Chatham County Police Department resources in this case, and those resources have come in the form of investigative, analytical, and technical assistance. For the past week, over 40 FBI agents, analysts, task force officers, and professional sports staff who live in the coastal Georgia area have worked tirelessly and continuously on this investigation. Last Wednesday, we mobilized our Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, the CARD team in short, which brings with it experts from across the country who specialize in missing children cases. As needed, and as the investigation continues to progress, the FBI stands ready to deploy additional resources. In closing, we share the sorrow felt by millions and pledge every resource to assist the Chatham County Police Department in finding little Quinton.
Thank you, Agent Clark. And in closing, I understand the intense interest in this case and know everyone has a lot of questions. I'll answer what I can. But remember, our focus must be on not doing anything that jeopardizes the integrity of this investigation or bringing justice for Quinton. So with that said, I'll be happy to answer what questions I can.
Did you hear from the family last night that you might be targeting a landfill? Can you tell us about that and what landfill it might be?
I cannot disclose any information relative to that. We will follow the evidence, and when our evidence leads us to search anything specifically or any specific geographic area, we will communicate that to you at that time.
Chief, I'm confused on why there was a tweet yesterday that said they believe that Quinton's likely deceased and understanding the investigation continues. What is that piece of evidence, or why what makes you believe that?
I cannot get into any specifics relative to evidence. What I can say is the evidence that we have so far, based on multiple search warrants and interviews, has led us to the conclusion that Quinton is deceased. The investigation doesn't end, right there. We will continue to investigate this until its final conclusion.
There's no charges brought in the case. What made you think it was necessary to identify?
Because the evidence has led us to that point and to this point today.
Why is she not been arrested?
Because we will only do that when we feel we have everything that we need to. We only get one shot at this, right? We're going to do it right. We're going to do the best that we can. We're going to use the resources at our disposal. We're thankful to the FBI. And when we get to that point and we feel comfortable in counsel with the FBI and the ADA, that's when we will reach that conclusion.
Chief, is anyone else being considered for criminal charges?
At this time, no.
What changed to make you suspect foul play?
The evidence in the case has led us to this conclusion.
Was there a date where you found the evidence that led you to this conclusion? Because obviously earlier this week or last week you had said you did not suspect.
The accumulation of evidence over these last 8 days has led us to this conclusion today.
Do you have an idea of what Quinton might be?
We do not have any specifics at this time. I can't answer that question with any level of specificity.
Do you know where Leilani's other two children are?
I can't answer that question.
Do you know where Leilani is?
I don't know where she is currently today.
Is there any chance anyone else besides Leilani could be sure?
There is no one else a suspect at this time. Leilani is the main focus of this investigation.
Are you not concerned that you've now named your number one suspect out loud to the public? Is there not a concern she might take off?
I can't get into any specifics, but we don't believe she's a flight risk at this time. All right, thank you. Appreciate your questions. Have a great day.
That noise, you guys, the buzzing that was on the end of the press conference. So unfortunately, there was nothing I could do about that. So what do you guys think about the fact that they're not concerned that she's a flight risk, Leilani? I'm a little concerned about that, but I'm hoping they're keeping a better eye on her than they did keep an eye on Brian Laundrie down in Florida, you know, back when they thought he was missing. But I will agree with the chief that I really would like to see them have a solid case, so there's no chance that it'll get thrown out or that she'll be found innocent. And there is such a thing as double jeopardy. So at this point, I would rather see them be solid. Like he said, they have one shot, and I agree with him on that. I think they need to make sure, Chatham Police and FBI, they need to make sure they got all their ducks in a row. So at this point, I'm going to, trust in them. They're the experts. They're the law enforcement. And I realize we've had a lot of departments that have given us questions of that these days. But I'm really hoping that this department, proves that they're doing the right thing as far as Quinton is concerned. But let me know what you think about this case and the Kylie case and the Parkland shooter in the comments. Let me know what you think. All these 3 cases, a lot of big news coming out today, a lot of stuff going on. And, it seems to be, they all come out at once. It seems to be one of those things that just seems to happen. So I appreciate you guys checking out the channel. And on your way out, if you'd hit that like button and then, of course, subscribe if you haven't already, I would be forever appreciated. And with that said and done, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day and stay safe.